Okay, next question comes from Lukuleles. Could you please talk about the two truths within Buddhist philosophy? Could you also articulate the difference between the Theravada view on this Mahayana on this and the Mahayana view? Thanks. I don't do well with questions regarding Theravada, Mahayana with the various schools of Buddhism, and I'd really rather not get involved with it. First of all, because I don't feel qualified. Second of all, because I'd rather not separate Buddhism out into different parts. I'll tell you what I understand the Buddha to have taught, and you can decide whether it's, or the various schools can decide whether it fits with their understanding. As I understand it, the Buddha taught two parts to reality, and that's the conceptual and the ultimate. So the Buddha, when he would teach, he would talk in terms of concept, people, self. He'd say, you are your own refuge. You have to help yourself, or so on. And he would talk about about planes of existence, like heaven and hell. He would use these as a conceptual way of helping people to understand reality. And then he also taught about ultimate reality, about the building blocks. So you could liken this to someone talking about biology as opposed to talking about physics or quantum physics. And these are two different realms, but they're two different ways of talking about the same thing. So biology talks about systems, which are actually just a concept. The liver, the heart, the brain, the organism. Because when you get down to the ultimate reality, it's made up of various component parts. And the interesting thing is that it seems in both quantum physics and Buddhist meditation, we're dealing with two things in an ultimate reality sense, and that is the physical and the mental. The physical is the world as we understand it. The mental is the mind as we experience it, our experience of the world around us. So when you see something, there is the light and the eye, which is physical, and then there is the mind, which knows, which is aware of the sight, and that is mental. There's the sound in the ear, there's the smell in the nose, the taste in the tongue, the feeling in the body. These are all the parts, and then finally there's the thoughts and the awareness of the thoughts. So really all of ultimate reality can be broken down into these two component parts. That's what is meant by the two truths. It's true that I am a human being and I have hands, feet, organs, and so on. But it's only true in a conceptual sense. It's not actually real. These things do not actually exist. The body doesn't actually exist. In fact, the only reality, from a Buddhist point of view, is the experience of it. When you feel the pressure when you're sitting of the back and the legs touching the floor, this is only feeling. When you hear someone talking, it's only sound, and so on. It's not a being. The importance of this teaching is that it helps you to realign yourself with things with the way they are. So it doesn't mean that when someone's talking to you, you ignore them because it's just sound touching the ear, but you understand it from the point of view of ultimate reality, that it's a sound first, and the extrapolation of the being is just that, is extrapolation, as opposed to when you hear something, immediately focusing on the person and making judgments, getting angry, getting upset, and so on. You understand it from the point of view of the sound first, and you understand your reactions to it, and how the way you react to it changes your reality, changes your environment. So if you say nasty things to the person, obviously they're going to get even more angry. If you say nice things to them, then you can potentially solve the problem, solve the situation. When you feel pain in the body, you come to see it as pain first, as opposed to thinking of it as my leg is in pain, and that means something's wrong and I have to move my leg, I have to stop meditating, or if it's a pain in the back, you have to go see a masseuse, it's a pain in the head, you have to take a painkiller, or so on. Instead of starting from the point of view of self, of ego, of me, of mine, of the head, the back, the leg, you start from the point of view of it being pain. This is why we say to ourselves, pain, pain, pain. And then you are able to formulate an answer to the question that it's posing, based on that reality. And the answer doesn't have to be moving your legs, stopping meditation, going in to see a masseuse, taking a pill. The answer comes to be that, just let it be. The answer comes to be that this is something that arises and ceases. It comes and goes. And it's not hurting me, it's not causing affliction, it's not going to lead to my death or dismemberment or so on. It's going to go away, and when it's gone, I'll be happy. And so as a result, you don't get angry, you don't get upset, and you remain free from suffering for all intents and purposes. So that's the understanding of two truths. The first truth is conceptual. This is talking in terms of entities, of the self, of the organs of the body itself, objects and so on, people, places, things. And then there's ultimate reality, which is the building blocks of reality. This is the second truth. And this is the more ultimate truth, which is talking about things in terms of as they really are, from an experiential level. So seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, thinking, the physical and the mental parts of every experience. So, did I answer your question? I think so. I hope so. Thanks for asking.